Hi guys, this is a bonus add-on lesson for lessons 4 and 5 about the 5 paragraph essay. This one is about using your works cited or bibliography page. I'm going to show you the Chicago manual style, but a very basic one. If you start writing more and more advanced papers using articles or things like that, then this can get a lot more involved, but I'm going to show you the very, very basic intro parts of a Chicago style works cited page, okay? And they usually, in Chicago style, they usually use the phrase bibliography. I'm a huge fan of works cited instead. Either one is totally acceptable. You'll just find that most of the time when using Chicago style, people refer to it as a bibliography, and when they use MLA or APA style, they tend to call it a works cited page. Either one is totally correct. Okay, basically, what this is, no matter which way you call it, it is a chance to show where you got your information. Okay, when you write a paper, you are using your opinions, and that is totally fine. But if I quote the book and I don't tell you I'm quoting a book, then it can sometimes look like I'm the one saying this, and that is plagiarism. Plain and simple, that's plagiarism. I cannot portray information as being my own when I actually got that information from someone else. Um, in the high school level, you will probably just get marked down. But at the college level, I'll be honest, they'll just give you a 0 on the whole paper if you don't properly quote what you're referencing. Okay, so you need to learn this, and this is a great time to start. So we're going to talk about works cited. Now, there are two ways that you cite a work. The easiest one, and the one that's the most important, if you can at least do this, then in most high school classes, this will keep you from getting in trouble for not quoting your sources. So we're going to start with just that works cited page at the end. Okay, so at the end of your paper on a new sheet, okay, so you finish your paper, and even if it only covers a little bit, you're not going to do anything else on the rest of that paper. And on the next page at the top, you're going to write either works cited or bibliography. Okay, works cited or bibliography. You're going to write that at the top of your page. And this is where you're going to list everything you referenced in the entire paper. Now, in this area, you're going to do it alphabetically by last name. Okay, so if in my paper I quote the book by, okay, let's say we're quoting Stargirl, which is by Jerry Spinelli, and I use the book by, let's do the one by Elizabeth George about having a heart after God. Then George, G, comes before Spinelli, S. So I'm going to start with a little bullet point, and I'm going to write, oh, that marker does not work well. Swap that one out. Okay, I'm going to write my works cited for George, comma, Elizabeth, and I'll show you the rest of the information before I write the one on Spinelli, comma, Jared. Okay, so all of your works cited on this page, they're going to be in alphabetical order using the last name of the author. That's pretty straightforward. That's pretty simple. We can do that, right? We can alphabetize. Okay, awesome. So you've got that down. So what all needs to be in that entry? All right, so recently I wrote a paper about the play Uncle Vanya by Anton Chekhov. It's a Russian play. It's very good. You should read it someday. And so I'm going to use that because I already had all those references. Okay, so in this bibliography entry or works cited entry, this is the format. All right, are you ready? It's going to go last name, comma, first name. Okay, last name, comma, first name. And then you're going to put a period. Next will be the title of the book. Okay, the title of the book. And this needs to be done in italics. I'm going to write title, italics. All right, and then again, you're going to put Actually, after that one, you're going to put a comma. Okay? So last name, comma, first name, period. Title of the book in italics, comma. Then in parentheses, you're going, oh, I'm sorry. I am looking at the footnote. Never mind. This is a period, and this is not parentheses. Oh, sorry. Okay, so title of the book in italics, period. Then you're going to put the place of publication. So where was the book published? Place of publication with a colon after it. And then you're going to put the name of the publisher. Publisher. And then comma, the year it was published. Okay? And then a period. So for Anton Chekhov's play Uncle Vanya, it was contained in the book The Best Plays by Chekhov. So my entry for this would look like this. Chekhov, comma, Anton, period. Then in italics, which I can't do while I'm writing, but when you're typing, highlight it, change it to italics. I'm going to write The Best Plays by Chekhov, because that is the name of the book that contained the play that I used when I wrote my paper about Uncle Vanya. Okay? So then I need to put period. Then I put the place of publication. For this one, it was published in New York. So I'm going to write New York, and I can abbreviate when it's at the state level, NY, all right, comma, USA. Okay, New York, USA, and then that colon, and then it was published by Random House. And then comma, and then in the year 1956. And then a period at the end. Okay? So that's what my entry would look like on that last page. And I'm going to hold it up a little bit closer so you can see it. All right? Chekhov, comma, Anton, period. The best plays by Chekhov, in italics, period. New York, USA, for where it was published, colon, name of the publisher, Random House, comma, and then 1956, the year it was published. So that is my bibliography entry for this book. Now, where do you find that information? It is right on the inside cover of your book. When you're flipping it open, you're going to come to a page, usually right before the title page, where there's lots of small print. And it says copyright 1956. Oh, there you go. That's the year it was published. And it'll say copyright 1956 by Random House Publishing, and then it'll list the address of where it was published. You don't need the whole address. A lot of the times it'll give, 1113 East 12th Street, New York, New York. You don't need the first part of that. You just need the city, state, country. Okay? Or if it wasn't in the US, most of the time just city, country is totally fine. Okay? So all of that information is right on the inside cover of your book. All right. Okay, so that's what it will look like at the end. And you're going to do one of those for every book that you reference. Now, something really cool, at least I think it's cool, is that you do not have to create an entry for the Bible. Now, this is odd, and at first it might seem like it's because it's not as important. The actuality is it's so important that they figure everybody knows about the Bible. So you don't have to include it in your bibliography. Though, if you are not confident yet on using footnotes, which we're going to talk about in a minute, do use it in your bibliography. So if you're doing footnotes, which we're going to talk about in a minute, you don't need to put it in your bibliography. If you're not using footnotes, go ahead and put it in your bibliography so that somewhere you acknowledge that you used the Bible. And in that case, you literally can just write the Holy Bible and then which version you used. But you don't need all of this information about where it was published, what year, any of that. You don't need it. The Bible is so widely accepted as a source that you could just literally put the Holy Bible, King James Version, or whatever version you use. Pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool that it's just such, it's considered such general knowledge and that cultural literacy thing that we've been talking about in class that it doesn't need any further citations. Okay, so this is on your bibliography page. This happens at the end of your paper. It's very, very, very important. If you are quoting a book, put this in there. All right, but now let's get a little more fancy, and this is going to give you a much better grade at the lower high school levels and a head start on what will be required at higher high school levels, and definitely what is required at the college level. And that is called footnotes. Okay. Footnotes are actually really cool, and once you learn how to do it, at first it seems like, wait, what just happened? Once you learn how to use it, though, it is such a handy tool, and it's going to make your life so much easier. In Windows 2007 or newer, you will have the option for adding a footnote, and this is super handy. So what you're going to do is, let's say you're writing in your paper, write, blah, 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 blah. And now you need to say where you got that information. So I did a quote that was from Stargirl about, the fact that they never heard from Stargirl again. Maybe I put that somewhere in my paper. They never heard from Stargirl again. I have to tell them how I got that information. Now, I know where I got that information. I read the book. It's on such and such page. But the reader doesn't know that. They might not have ever read Stargirl. So they're saying, how does this person know that they never heard from Stargirl again? Well, this is easy. What you're going to do is when you get to the end of that sentence and you need to put your reference, you're going to go up to the top and you're going to click on the little button up at the top of the page that says references on it. So you click on that and you're going to get a menu that comes across the top of your page, and then you're going to click on Insert Footnote. Insert Footnote. All right. It might look a little bit different on the different versions, but like I said, this option is supported in Windows, like on Word 2007 and newer. So look for it. If you have, a specific, Windows 2013, whatever, you can go online and Google it to see exactly what it's going to look like if you're having a hard time finding it. But those words pretty much just stay the same. You're going to click on references, and then you're going to click on Insert Footnote. And what it's going to do is it's going to automatically put you on the bottom of that page, and you're going to think, where did what I just wrote go? It just disappeared. Like, it scrolls down. So if this is my page that I'm typing on, and I'm up here, what it's going to do is it's going to automatically put a little number 1 up in the corner here. And then it's going to pop you down to the bottom of the page, and it's going to put a 1 down low. And it's going to have the little blinking cursor like, okay, type it in. And this is where you're going to put your reference that was in your page, and it's going to match, okay? And here, it's a little less fancy, all right? I'm going to now do first name, last name, okay? So if it's Stargirl, I'm going to now just write Jerry Spinelli. I don't have to do Spinelli, comma, Jerry. Jerry Spinelli, comma, the title, and again, that'll be in italics. So Stargirl, all right? And then in parentheses, I'm going to put that place, colon, publisher, comma, year. And then I'm going to end the parentheses. And now this is very important. I'm going to put my page number. Okay, so if it's toward the end of the book, it might be on page 113, whatever it is. But I'm going to put my page number here and then a period. Okay, so let's say now, okay, I did that. And now I start writing again. And I'm writing, and I'm writing, and I'm writing. And, oh, I've got another quote. I'm going to hit that again. References, insert footnote. Now it's going to put a little 2, and it's going to pop me down at the bottom of my page. And it's going to put a 2, and again, I'm going to fill it out. Now, let's say that next quote is also from Stargirl. I do not have to put all of this information a second time. I don't. I've already given it to the reader. They know. So I can just recap what it is. And all I'm going to do is put their last name. So I'm going to put Spinelli, comma, Stargirl in italics, and then comma, page number, and then a period. Okay? I do not have to do the place of publication, the publishing company, the year, all of that again, because they've already been told that information. So the first time, I need to make sure I put all that information. so that they know where I'm getting it from. But from that point on, I can do an abbreviated version of last name, title, and page number. Hopefully that all makes sense. Now, one of the cool things about footnotes is, let's say you're writing, and all of a sudden you go, oh shoot, I forgot to add, this was a quote also. I need to put a reference right here. Okay? Don't panic. Put your cursor there again and hit that references, insert footnote, and it's going to automatically put a 2 here and change this one to a 3 and change this one to a 3 and put a new 2 right here with the cursor so that you can add the information in between these two. It will automatically adjust for you. Yay! No formatting necessary. It does it for you. That is super handy. So anyway, this is how you do it inside your papers. This is super great. And get into the habit. Even if you're doing it wrong at first, that's better than not doing it at all. We want people to know where we're getting our information, and it's better to give too much information than not enough. So if you accidentally do the full thing every time in your footnotes, that's better than not putting anything. We want people to know where we get our information from. We don't want to ever be accused of stealing somebody else's ideas or information and portraying it as our own. So get really used to using works cited, bibliography, footnotes, and all of those things. Like I said, this should apply very well to you if you have Word 2007 or newer. If you have older versions, this gets a little tricky because you have to format it yourself. So I'm not going to cover that in this video. That's a little bit more work. But hopefully all of you have enough, a newer enough version that Word does it all for you, does its little formatting magic, and you have an excellent paper as a result. Okay. Oh, last thing. Here is where you would reference the Bible. So we talked about how you don't have to put the Bible in your in your bibliography, but you do need to reference it in your footnotes, and you can either write it out or use abbreviations. Both are acceptable. So let's say my quote, I'm down here and I've got quote number 4, and I come down here. Let's say I'm quoting Genesis 1:1. I can put Genesis 1:1, comma, New King James Version, and write it all out. Or it is also perfectly acceptable to do GEN period 1:1, comma, NKJV. Okay? And then a period at the end. So I can write it all out, or I can use abbreviations with the Bible because, again, they assume that the Bible is such a common enough reference, such common enough knowledge that this is sufficient information to get your point across. So use the Bible in your footnotes. And like I said before, if you're not ready to use footnotes, you just want to stick with a bibliography/works cited page, then reference the Bible in that bibliography. But if you are using footnotes, you do not need to put the Bible in your bibliography. Okay, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know, and we'll talk again soon. Bye, guys.